Hi everybody, and thanks for joining Stamp with Tracy for today's Well Wednesday. Today we are going to work on something out of the new mini catalog, and I know I probably say this very often, but this is definitely my favorite item out of the new January to April mini. And I think I did mention it briefly in a video a couple of weeks ago, but it is this Thoughtful Moments hybrid embossing folder. You can find that on page 18, and it sells for $38. So, and this sprayer here is also a great thing to have to work with that. And I will show you a little bit about that now. So here is the close-up of the Stampin' Cut and Emboss embossing folder, and it is called a hybrid because it does both emboss and cut, and I absolutely love the ones that do that. So it comes with the embossing folder and it comes with the dies. So here is your embossing folder. Okay, and you have your front that has the label on it, and that's important to remember. So let me just give you a little brief synopsis about the best way I think it is to use this. So you take your brayer. Now my brayer is an old brayer. I don't have the new brayer, and I had it, so I didn't see any need to buy a new one. But you want to ink up. See if I can get this stuff out of the way underneath here. You want to ink up your brayer, and when you ink up your brayer, you want to make sure that I'm not really going to ink it up because I'll end up with ink while I'm doing this, but you want to make sure you move your brayer front and back and left to right to make sure that you are continually getting it all around the brayer. And then once your brayer is inked up, you are going to take, again, the label side of the embossing folder, and you're going to just go over it. Now, you probably will end up with ink in these little spots in between there, and that's not a problem at all, but you want to make sure that you get all the raised parts covered. So when your raised parts are covered, you in turn take your die and see if I can bring this up here. You layer it on here, and it will sort of fit right over these embossed pieces. Okay, so it shouldn't move on you. If you can see that, it's like in place here. Okay, and then you take your piece of cardstock, whether you're using white, whether you're using a color or whatever, you close it up. Now 6 by 6 will cover the entire thing, and you can cut it all out at one time. So you would take your base platform from your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, you don't need any other pieces with that. Lay down your embossing folder. I always like to put my hinge in first, or if you put it to the side, put it away from the handle. That is just good practice with your embossing folders. Sometimes when you're on the handle side with where it closes, it might crack because that's like the tightest position of your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And then you need either one of these plates. It's plate number 4 if you have the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine from Stampin' Up! And if you have an older one and you just bought the blue plate that we sold temporarily to make that work with our new embossing folders and die cuts and things like that, we had this come out when we had stopped carrying the Big Shot. We needed this plate to work with some of our new dies and things. So either one of these two, and you put it on top there, and you run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and guess what you get? You get all these awesome die cuts already cut out, all in one swipe. So there are many different ways of doing it. Like I said, you can do it by just inking it up on white paper. This is just our regular basic white and our tuxedo black memento. And I recommend that because if you want to come back and color them with blends, then you use the right ink for that. And you got all of these thinking of you. Hello, thank you, celebrate, you make me happy, get well, oh happy day, all in one swift sweep. So then here I did the same thing using Granny Apple Green, and I used Granny Apple Green as my ink. So this is tone on tone. See if I can get a white piece of paper here and set it on top of that and see if you see it better. So that is tone on tone. Same color designer, same color cardstock as the ink. Same thing here. This is a darker one. Let's get that one got cut off to the side. I didn't have a big enough piece of paper and I was just using up scraps. So when I do use this, what I'll do with it is I will put the love you right over at the edge of a piece of paper and it'll look like I made it that way on purpose. So there's always ways to fix things, right? But this is the pecan pie ink on top of the pecan pie paper. Okay, and then other ways to use it. This one here was just cut out on white cardstock. And I took a dauber. So I just took one of my daubers and inked it up with Night of Navy and colored over it. Now I did it very lightly in the back, and then I came back heavier to make my raised portion even darker. Hopefully you can see that on here. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. And then this one here, I just had a scrap piece of paper and I wanted this thinking of you really quick. So I just took my regular Stampin' Write marker, happens to be Granny Apple Green again, and put what they call the brush tip, the larger one, right over top of that ink on the embossing folder, right over top of that raised part, like I said before, on the, oops, here it is. Just took my Stampin' Write marker, brushed it across the top there, and inked that all up. Sat the die on it, thinking of you. And you want to make sure your die's in the right place, and by doing so, it won't move. When you get it lined up and everything perfectly, it won't slide. And then I just took a little scrap piece of cardstock and laid it in there and went ahead and ran it through. Now, one of the important things is making sure you clean this up well. Now, I find it easy to do with a chamois. This happens to be that new lightweight chamois I absolutely love, that came with my glass cutting mat that hopefully will be available to purchase in the future. But right now you can earn it for free if you choose to sign up. And that is a $60 value, this mat, the chamois, and a little Teflon piece of Teflon that has different things on it where you can use it as like a ink mixing well and things like that. But most importantly, you want to make sure this is really clean before you go from one color to another. And on top of using my chamois that's dampened, I always take a clean piece of Kleenex, or probably paper towel is best, just to rub over that and make sure there is no ink. I do clean both sides, and I also wipe off the die itself because ink will get on that on both sides. And make sure everything is dry before you put your sandwich back together. But isn't that just an awesome, great way to get so many lovely die cuts? And also on these die cuts is there's some hearts, some rainbows, some little ferns, flowers, stars, clouds, more rainbows. I cut out a bunch of the little ones of those, and I'll show you how I use them as well. So there's so many different ways to get what you want out of this. And of course, my philosophy is I just cut a whole bunch of them in different colors, and I have a bag full of them. And I just store them in with my die cuts. So I have a plastic little baggie, and I'll put all of these in there, and I'll just store that in with the hybrid embossing folder and dies right in that envelope. So I have it ready to go whenever I want it, and I know where they are. So now let's show you a few cards that I made with this. Okay, so let's start off by actually making a card. So I have a piece of soft seafoam, and I'm going to use that as my card base. That's 5.5 by 8.5. I have a piece of lemon lolly, or lolly lemon. Let me see, which one is it? Lemon lolly. Okay, so I have the lemon lolly, And that is 3 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. And then I have a piece of basic white. And this is another item that is in our new January to April mini catalog. It's called Layer Florals. You can find that on page 65 and it's $11. Absolutely love this. Made beautiful, beautiful embossed flowers on here. And I'm also going to be using some soft seafoam sheer ribbon. I'm not sure if that's still available. That might be retired. And I'm going to be using some of our brushed brass butterflies that's in our current annual catalog. So first I'm going to do some coloring on here. I have my Lemon Lolly, and I think I'm going to use the the shorter tip, and I'm going to color the center of these flowers. And there's one more over here. And then I have my soft seafoam to match my card base. And I'm going to take and cover all the little centers of these smaller flowers. I think I got all those. And then just going down the center of these leaves right here. No, maybe I'll color the whole thing. So there's a few little leaves throughout. Maybe just, here's one. Oh, there's another little flower. Trying to keep my head out of the camera, as I always do, but that's making things hard for me to see. Let me pick that up and see if I missed anything else that I wanted to color in. So one more right here on the edge. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and glue that down and add my liquid glue. And glue that onto my Lemon Lolly. Now it's the same width, but it's not the same height. So I want to try to get that from top to bottom even. That looks pretty even to me. And it looks like this might be just a slither, 1/8 of an inch bigger. And I always rather have it bigger than smaller because I can trim, but I can't make it any longer. So I'll just take my little paper snips. 1/16 of an inch, maybe, if it was even that much. And then I will tie a bow. Again, this is some soft seafoam ribbon. I'm sorry to say I forgot to check to see if it was still current or not while when I got it out, but I thought the soft seafoam would look nice. You could use so many different ones, so many different colors. Okay, so I get my bow started and then I shape it up and then I pull it tight. So I want to make this one a little bit shorter over here and bring that one down just a little bit right here. And then I want my good, I have a pair that I keep just for ribbon. I'll take and trim. Yep, didn't do that too good of a job. It moved on me. So let me grab that again. And there I have that. Shorten that up just a little bit again. This one's a little long. Okay, so then I have that. And then I'm going to glue that down right on here. I like to always glue on top of my ribbon, so it helps to keep the ribbon in place as well. And then I always go back to my edges. So this is going to be up towards the top, looking for just maybe the same 1/4 of an inch on the top here as what I have. And then I was going to use the Just Because. So I have the Just Because already cut out, and I'm going to take my soft seafoam, and I'm just going to go over the raised letter parts. I like to use, you could use either tip for this. Everybody has different preferences. I want it to be really light. I don't want it to be like colored real dark. And I think that the smaller tip does give you more dense color. So I'm using the brush tip, and this is soft seafoam, again, of the Stampin' Blends. And it's going to say Just Because. So what do you think of this embossing folder, hybrid embossing folder? I love the ones that both cut and emboss, but these words is just great. And then I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals here. This might be a little too thick. Yeah, that's going to show. Let me see if I have some minis here. I do. Grab my mini dimensionals. And that's the only thing I'm popping up on this card is this Just Because. I'm going to use 4 of my little minis. Take the little backings off of those. So where's the funniest place you've ever found one of the backings for our dimensionals? I wear them quite frequently without realizing it. They'll be getting ready to go somewhere and my husband says, "What's that on your shirt?" But I do find them all over the house. Okay, so then I want that on the white. I don't want it to cover any of the lemon lolly. And I'm coming right over to the edge of my paper. Isn't that gorgeous and subtle? This would be a beautiful sympathy card as well. And then I'll put a plain piece of white in there so it can be used for any occasion. You can either stamp it or you can write in it, because this will be one of the cards that goes out to the winners when you like and comment on today's Wow Wednesday. So let me show you another one that I made. This one here was used with the new, the Winter Meadow Designer Series paper that was in the December to January mini, the September to December mini, but it is a carryover item. So this Designer Series paper, gorgeous, as well as these faceted gems. That was in that catalog as well, and they come in 3 different colors. That is also a carryover item. So if you're interested in one of those, the only way to really find the carryover items is online. They're not listed in any catalog. So I will give you those item numbers just in case you're interested. The Winter Meadow Designer Series paper is number 161133, and the faceted gems is item number 162148. Just enter those numbers in on your order and they will pop up. Made this plain inside as well, so it's another one that you can use for different occasions. Then the next card that I made, I used this cute little quick and easy get well card, And this one here was one of the ones where I did with the brayer and ink after I had cut it out. So this was just plain white, and I went ahead and just inked that up with the brayer. So it gave me the soft behind it, and then it gave me the heavier on there, which I got the same type of results as using the sponge dauber as well. So there are the 3 cards for today's Wow Wednesday. And as I stated, the winner will be able to pick out, we'll get 2 of these 3 cards if I have enough time to contact you and get that your choice. I'd be happy to do so. Sometimes it depends on my schedule, if I have the time to wait or if I'm rushing to get them out. So today was filled with lots of new items out of the January to April mini catalog. And my favorite one being that Stampin' Cut Emboss and hybrid embossing folder. Absolutely love it. And as I stated, it is definitely my favorite item out of that catalog. So don't forget to like and comment for a chance to win 2 of these 3 cards. And if you are interested in this glass mat and you want to sign up to become a demonstrator and get this item free, reach out to me and I'll be happy to go over that with you. We do have, I believe it's just 1 day left of celebration, because I think this video is posting on the 27th of February or 28th of February, and this year it goes to the 29th. So you're eligible for free items if you get an order in by tomorrow. $50 gets you a free item out of the $50 choices. And if you spend $100, you can pick one of the higher priced free items as well. And again, if you're interested in signing up, this glass mat would be available as your free item in your kit, and it's valued at $60, or you can add an additional $30 worth of merchandise if the mat doesn't entice you. So thanks again for joining me, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's Wow Wednesday, and don't forget to like and comment. Happy stamping.